Unity!
Clap your hands, everybody!
And y'all know what time it is. It's time to get initiated in, alright? It's 3 simple steps. You breathe in, you breathe out, and you puka it out.
Let's go.
Breathe in. Breathe out. Puka it out. Cause it's that time to blow your mind. It's that time to blow your mind. On the Good Time Show. Hey, dig it, dad.
What is up, everybody? I am your girl, the princess of all.
And I am Kujo Speaks.
And we are back.
Again.
Like we never left it, okay, y'all?
We really didn't leave. We just changed and sat right back in these seats.
We really did.
We've been here for days.
We really did.
She won't let me leave.
We're held hostage. Someone please call 911. Just kidding. But it is Think about it Thursday.
Think about it Thursday. Listen, y'all, you got to give us some time because we restructured a lot. And after so long of doing something one way and now you're trying to switch it up, it takes a minute. Okay?
Yes.
So now it is Think About It Thursday, not Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
Or Throw It Away Thursday as it used to be.
I mean, and we can still possibly do a throw it away moment on this Thursday.
You can incorporate those things.
We felt like we've lived in the past enough. Let's stop throwing it back on a Thursday. Let's stop going back down memory lane, because all the time memory lane does not get you where you need to be. So we're going to do Think About It Thursdays and give you things to think about, to move forward, to better yourselves, to push you a little bit harder, okay? As much as, we was wilding yesterday on Wednesday, being crazy and kooky.
Sorry about that.
We are also adults and evolving adults that want to give encouragement and positive things to everyone out there. So Think About It Thursday is our new Thursday. All right, y'all.
And today is the day where we want everybody to send your comments to us throughout the week. Let us know deep things that you're thinking about or topics that you want us to talk about or tidbits and pieces of wisdom that you've learned over the years that you'd like us to share on your behalf. Like, let's really get deep on these Thursdays and make some people think about some things.
Yes. And speaking of thinking about things, our topic of the day today is the end of a new era, right? So this whole week, we've kind of been talking about things ending, things being different, things changing. And we want to discuss, like, where does this era really fall? Because I don't even really technically know what generation I am.
So according to, like, the breakdown of years, I didn't know I was technically a millennial.
And that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Are we millennials?
So,
and then what's Gen...
The new one is Gen Z. So members of Gen Z are those born between 1997 and 2015.
Okay, which that makes sense. And, no offense, but it's like that Dragon Ball Z area. Dragon Ball Z was real crazy. Like, they was wild on Dragon Ball Z. So the fact that they are Gen Z, that's why y'all wild and crazy out here. I mean, up until 2015, y'all have... I'm sorry.
Wow.
Don't judge me. Morals, shot. Workability, shot.
It's a whole new world.
Kindness,
it's a whole new world.
Gone. Like, and no offense, but I also feel like as I can't even say OGs because we're technically millennials.
Right.
So
that's what made me mad though, because I'm like,
I'm not really a millennial.
Coming up, I used to be like,
I would be, because the millennial tour came out and I was like, oh, that's a fire.
Millennials, and this might be surprising to some of you as well. Wow. Millennials are from 1981 to 1997.
1981 to 97.
So I remember.
What's before millennials?
Before millennials there's a timeline on here somewhere. I'll find it and get back to you. But I remember coming up and being like, oh, millennials, and talking about millennials, like the newer young kids. And I was thinking like.
I got the whole timeline. This is funny.
That's the whole thing?
Yes.
I thought it was funny. The people that are now like 70 to like 90, their generation is called the silent generation. I'm like, why is
So
that? Because 90% of them dead? 'Cause they so
no. So I agree with that. So you're so ignorant. I don't agree with
That's
the
why I
man
whispered
dead.
it. That's,
I'm,
I agree. I agree with you. They gone, so they silent.
okay, so should we even go back to 1901? Because I mean,
Did they have generation?
yeah,
Now, here's a question though: did somebody in recent years go back and name them those
probably.
things, or
I
were
don't
they
know.
already calling them that?
I have no clue.
Because I feel like they switched millennial time frame. Because I didn't think we were millennials until they decided to
I didn't
rename
either.
like the. But anyway, what do they
Okay,
say?
so they say so from 1901 to 1927, that was the greatest generation. That's what that one was called, the greatest generation.
Is it because that's when the Great Depression happened?
Could be. And then after that, it's the 1928 to the 1945. That's the silent generation.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 1946 to 1964, that was the baby boomers.
Okay.
And then from 1965 to 1980, that's Generation X. And then from 1981 to 1996 is the millennials. And then from 1997 to 2010, that's Generation X. And then from 2011 to present, that's Generation Alpha.
What? That's the problem in itself. If you name a Generation Alpha, then they're going to believe they are the alphas.
But I'm wondering, during the silent generation, was that also the silent generation? Because that was during the time that a lot of things were happening, but a lot of people were not saying anything and standing up for anything.
I guess it depends on why they named them what they named them. Like, I mean,
that's true.
Because really, was that a silent period though? Well, there was a lot of. What years was that again? The silent one?
1928 to 1945.
Oh yeah, I don't think the movement was.
Yeah, no movement. That's what I'm saying. No movement was happening.
In like the 50s, right?
Yeah,
civil rights movements and
during
all
the
those
baby
things.
boomers. They let us go, and we.
Right. In the 70s is when the babies was happening because everybody was love, peace, and grass.
And ass.
Uh-huh.
But I just think that these generations are. I don't care what timeline you're from. I don't care if you're millennial, X, Z, Alpha, BQ, LMNO, whatever generation. I think that community stopped in all generations.
Yeah.
Because when you had community, you had more people who had morals or, was kind, had that chivalry effect, because it was the whole mindset of it takes a village to raise a child. So therefore,
exactly
your next door neighbor could, chastise your child if they were outside doing wrong.
Facts.
Now it's like, what'd you say to my child? Like we're so quick to enable our child for doing the wrong thing because that's our child and I should defend them. But they just did something wrong. Why are you taking their side?
Yeah, well, you know what I think.
We want to be the cool
You know what I think kind of helped or hindered that whole idea is the booming of technology. So I was in high school, I think, when like AOL started happening and like we had the brick cell phone, right? So when all that started coming out, you no longer needed to have everybody's eyes out for the kids because you had direct contact with your kids more frequently. So now it was like, I don't need you worrying about where my kid is. I can worry about my kid because I can get a hold of my kid.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you didn't know where your kid was until your kid was in
So
eyesight.
you had to talk to
so everybody
Sally the
had
neighbor
to keep their eyes out for everybody's kids. So
but also,
and I didn't even think
feel
about
like,
that till just now. It makes sense.
But also I feel like people back then were more family oriented.
Yes, I mean that's
they
a huge
cared
part
about
of
it. Like if you so some of the areas that I am familiar with, I'm not gonna say that like I grew up or like lived in a large part of my life, but I'm familiar with is if you lived on this block and you knew that this child's mom, wasn't the best or worked late or, ripped and ran and the child was just at home, you didn't mind him coming over eating dinner at your house. Right. You fed the baby. Right. You watched the child and then you sent them home when it was time because school was tomorrow. We cared about what happened to children or to kids or people. If you knew the next
Yeah.
door neighbor was an old lady and she couldn't cut her grass or deliver her groceries, you would go and you would help her out. You would hold the door open. Now,
Yeah.
kids look at them and be like, "Huh, she shouldn't have came out here. She ain't want to." You gonna let this old lady open the door? She got a cane, a walker, like, you know what I'm saying? You see this poor
Yeah.
baby that, you know, don't have on no shoes outside. He don't have a shirt on, and you got old clothes in your house that you just want to throw away, and you don't put it on the kid. Like, you get,
I know we
like,
think
that
about it
era
all the
is just
time.
like,
I know we think about it all the time, and it's obvious out in the world. But like when you truly sit down and think about what it used to be like, and how much happier I think people were,
yes,
and how much less afraid of the world people
yes,
were, because you knew there were more people that was gonna have your back than that were gonna try to hurt you back then.
yes.
And I think that whole idea is completely gone.
I remember, my grandma, she stayed on the block where she was friends with like everybody on the block. I mean, my grandma had lived in this house for like years, and I went to school in that neighborhood. And after school, all the kids, we knew exactly where to meet when the bell rang, and we all would walk home from school together. Like, and all of our parents knew that everybody was walking home together because everybody was at work.
That part right there don't happen no more.
That's what I'm saying.
Walking home,
man.
Ain't no kid walking home from school these days.
And not in a group. They're leaving each other.
Ew.
They're on their phones. They're not paying. And back then, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have
No.
pagers or two-ways. Everybody knew you don't leave this stoop until everybody is here. If everybody came to school today, everybody is leaving. Now, they leaving their friends. They don't care. I mean, they will go to a party with a friend and be like, "Oh, she'll find her own way home." That's not the era we were raised in.
Look.
You know what I'm saying?
It was last year, 2 years ago, 3 maybe. Johnny Two Times, for his birthday, went out to a city that was like 45 minutes away from where they live.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up straggling away, phone about to die and all of that. By the time he realizes it and contacts the people that he was with, they were already on the party bus and like at home. Nobody came back to try to find him. Nobody did. They legit left him. He ended up linking up with somebody he was just conveniently ended up walking next to, and they ended up being nice enough to like let him come stay the night, which was dangerous and crazy.
Because you could anything could have happened.
But what was he gonna do? He was hammered, walking around some city he didn't know at 3 in the morning.
That's the era that I am losing respect for.
Right.
Because
I would never leave if I came with you,
I'm not leaving
it until I got you.
Leaving you.
It's not happening.
Like, and I know we talked about, previous shows, splitting bills and all that kind, but that's things that you can get back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can make more money.
Oh, yeah.
You can replace money. You can go to another restaurant, but a life, you cannot take that back. And I personally do not want to be held responsible for anyone's trauma. If I can stop your trauma, I will to the best of my ability. And when I say trauma, I mean kidnapped, raped or harmed or any of those things, and you are out with me, I'm going to do that to the best of my ability. And everybody nowadays are not like that. When I look at the story of PNB Rock, and come to find out it's a little 17-year-old boy who actually shot him.
Was it?
Yes. And he's being, under arrest. And it's like, at 17, just the respect for, street or elders or all those kinds of things is just like, I don't know if he was hired. I don't know all the details, but I just know that regardless
of what happened, he did what he did. And
exactly. And I'm just like, where is the love and the compassion? Like, I don't know if you watch the show The Chi. Do you watch that? Okay.
I need to, though. I keep hearing great things about that show. Is it still on? Because that show's been around for a while.
It is. It's still on. The season just ended.
13 or something?
Season 5 just wrapped.
Is that really all it is? I
Yeah.
feel like the show's been around for a minute.
It has a lot of episodes. It has like 10 episodes in each season.
Gotcha.
But there's a young kid on there, and his name is Bakari, right? And Bakari, his parents gone, siblings gone, so he's like literally like a 16-year-old kid who has nobody, no family, no nothing. So he turned to the streets.
Right.
I mean, they live in Chicago. But then you have a character on there who was him at that age, didn't have anybody, but now he's older. And he's reaching back out to him saying, hey, look, I was you when I was that age.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't make the same mistake I did.
Okay.
I did 20 years in jail, so you could not do 20 years. And that's what we need more of people saying, hey, listen, you may not understand, but I was exactly in your shoes. But people are so afraid to tell their stories of what they've been through to these younger kids. And then when you tell them like, hey, yeah, don't do that, they're thinking like, oh, you don't know. But until you really sit down and have that conversation and they understand, like, I have been
I think
you.
so I think, and I don't know, were we talking about this earlier this week, or I think we were, when I was talking about internet money and people making money on YouTube and all.
Yeah.
So with that comes these people at these younger ages that are able to be self-sufficient and able to make this money playing video games or doing videos online.
Yeah,
So as an OG trying to tell them something about how life works or how X, Y, and Z is, they're like, you living in the past. That ain't how stuff works no more.
Yeah, but I think it depends on, I think it works 50-50. And that's why you always see, the older people preaching back to the younger kids. And that's why they let the younger kids volunteer at these senior citizen homes, because it's a balance, right? The senior citizen is giving them that pure foundation knowledge, but yet the younger people are able to kind of still keep them equipped and kind of keep them hipped. Yes, as far as making money and being sufficient, yes, those times have absolutely changed.
Right.
But knowing a snake, having foundation, and having cores, that's never changed.
But
you know what I'm saying?
These kids, the bravado that kids have these days,
but that's
they
the part,
think they got it all figured out.
and that's the part that they're all screwed up on, because that's why they're making these mistakes. That's why they're trusting people so easily and ending up in these situations of getting robbed or getting kidnapped. When I watch, okay, so there's this girl that I watch on TikTok, and I'm working very hard on getting her to feature her shows on Hot 93.97. But she does so many stories of people who went missing. It's ridiculous. Like people, like stories and people that we don't see on our news. You don't see on CNN. You don't see hashtagging and trending on social media to help find this person. Like she does so many stories all across the world. I mean, all over the state of a girl goes out with friends and she never comes back and nobody can find her. Nobody knows. Or a girl went out with a boyfriend and the boyfriend never came back and they don't know if the girlfriend did it or whatever. Like there's so many stories, and they're young people. And I mean, when I say young, I mean 15, 16, 18-year-olds like that have just vanished.
That's the problem.
Boyfriends killing them and nobody knows where their bodies are. And it's because these people, these younger kids, get on social media and they see these lives that everyone is living, and behind closed doors, it's a complete wash. Like, did you watch you probably didn't. I watched too many of these killer movies.
If it's about murder stuff or kidnapping stuff, there was a young black girl who was an influencer, and she was in, I want to say South Carolina or something like that. And she was real young. She was in high school, 15, 16, something like that. Maybe 17, about to graduate.
I didn't see that one.
But she was going to get her dress for homecoming, her nails done or something, like down like an hour away from home, and met some dude or talked to some dude at a gas station, and then followed him somewhere to her.
Never went back.
And they ended up finding her at the trailer or whatever.
And she was dead.
Yeah. Damn. But like it's social media, and that's another thing. This generation with social media. And I hate to sound old. I hate to sound like an OG. Because when we were younger, you can't tell me our OGs used to tell us the same when they used to sound exactly like we sound now. And we was like, So some of that is just a generational thing, and it's always going to be there or we're not. But I feel like the dangers that are happening today that we're trying to warn them of,
like back then,
they actually need, back then they're like, you need to do this or this is gonna happen, and we like, you tripping.
Yeah, but like back then you heard about people getting abducted and snatched. You know what I'm saying? But it was like one in like every 15 kids that got snatched. Now people are getting abducted and kidnapped left and right every single day of every single moment.
It's not it takes a village thing anymore. So a lot of times now people are more like, more people are willing to see something and not say anything, or like, oh, that ain't,
They ain't got nothing to do with me.
I ain't gonna get involved. Or they'll just grab their phone and
record
it and be like, yeah, I recorded this. This is what happened. Like,
but you let her get in the car.
Instead of trying to intervene or...
There was a white couple. They were very... I cannot think of her name right now. I will look it up
Did we talk about them last season?
I think we did. When they were famous on TikTok and they were living in the van, they made a documentary about it.
We talked about
and she went missing. Yes, her. She went missing. But on social media, everybody just thought that she was just... They had the perfect relationship. He was so awesome and all these kinds of things. And then all of a sudden he ended up killing himself. And it was just so weird. But it's like, those are the things that this younger generation is not paying attention to.
Whatsoever.
And it's like, to a certain extent, actually, it's not even to a certain extent, it's the absolute truth. People only show you what they want you to see. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much people say that they're being transparent with you on their TikTok, on their Instagram, they're only sharing a portion of what they want you to know or see. Even the women who record themselves crying, yada, 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 they're only showing you that portion. What happens when they turn that camera off? Are they still crying? What are they doing about their emotions? How are they processing it? How are they really feeling?
So, and this is getting kind of off topic, but I feel like I need to say this. Like, I've been listening to a ton of books, a ton of these like self-help books or whatever. And it's all about rewiring your mind and your brain and how you think and stuff and how you process things or whatever. So even the person and people that are online claiming and are being really open and showing who they are, showing their full selves, they're not able to show you who they are completely because they in turn don't really even know and they're still working on who they are consistently. So they can give you a snapshot into how they're currently doing and what they're currently thinking and feeling. But as far as what they would do in this situation or who they really are, will they have your back and all that? You'll never know that until the situation arises.
And that's the truth, because as humans, we don't even really know until it occurs. You know what I'm saying? And I know that for a fact. Okay, listen, y'all. Before I had children, I was one of those people that was like, my kid would never. I would never let this happen. I would never. Or, oh, how could they? Oh, why do they let this happen with their children?
I can't believe.
Yeah, now that I'm a mom, I'll be like, I don't care. I don't care. I pick and choose my battles, okay? But it's one of those things that you never know how that situation is until you're in it. And that's why I always say people need to stop being so judgmental when it comes to anything between their kids, their families, or things that's going on. You never know how you will handle a situation until it happens or until it knocks at your doorstep. Even with the whole COVID thing, right? Nobody wanted to believe COVID, monkeypox, all these type of things until their loved one got sick or until they got sick. And it was like, oh, COVID's real.
It's real.
Oh my gosh, be careful. Because it hit home. Now you care.
Like these kids these days have to, and I gotta stop saying it. I can't stand feeling that these kids these days and back in my day.
But it's the truth.
I mean, something. I always say cliches are cliches because they're real. You know what I mean? And I laugh every time I say this to my kids. Yeah. You know, I'm like, y'all kids these days, I'm telling you, y'all have it way worse than we have it because everything can kill you. You know what I mean? And y'all have the access people have to your lives these days. Locations. Do you know the new update for the iPhones? You have to go into if y'all don't know this, you have to go into your settings and you have to turn off precise location. Yep. It's on more apps than you think, and they can legitimately get exactly where you are, and it just came on your phone like that.
And that's why in this era of this generation, you know, as much as TikTokers and social media people only show us what they want us to see, you have to think that the government and the FBI does the same thing. What they're putting in these movies, okay, let me tell you this, y'all. What they're putting in these movies, they're already 20 steps ahead of what's in the movie. Yeah. They just want to put it out so you think that you can be smart enough to outsmart them, but they already are 20 steps ahead and know how this is going to play out to recreate something. Because if that's the case, why would they show how to hide a body or how to clean up blood on something if they didn't want an idiot to go out and try and do it
in the day,
to get caught?
Okay, so I just told you I watch a lot of murder stuff, right? So I've been watching about serial killers. It was, I want to say it was Raider, the BTK. It was one of those quiet, like, I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, he used to study all of those, like fiction books and manuals and all about murder stuff, how to get away with murder and crime scene investigators and all of that stuff. And he evaded being caught for 30 years because of the knowledge he got from those movies and books and shows. And
But that was how long ago? Yeah,
right.
I was gonna say back then.
Now I would hope that there's a lot of fiction in these type
of course.
But then again, all of these shows I watch, they tell you exactly what, like the detectives are like, what we typically look for.
But that's because they are already more advanced because they learn.
You giving them credit?
No, listen, they are hip to a lot of different things.
I hope so.
Going through some of the cases that I've gone through personally, family-wise, they are more hip to a lot of stuff than we give them credit for. But back then, they did not have that technology. Like, to find out, I was watching some missing movie or whatever, and the kid was missing from back then. They didn't even have the database to be able to scan this picture and send it to every police station to notify if this is happening in your city. So I think they learned from all of those things, and what they did was, they caught all of those criminals, right? Yeah. And they studied the criminals to better enhance their technology on how to do these things. That's why, and I might be talking too much, so I'm gonna shut up in a minute. Right. But some of these people, when they are caught for these outlandish crimes, they wonder why didn't they get killed on arrival, get killed at arrest? Because they're questioned to be able to, they study them to be able to better enhance their systems. But I say that to say all of these younger kids think that technology is just something, I can turn it off and, they can't catch me. Bro, they can turn on your cameras whenever they choose to.
That's what people
They can record you whenever. They can ping your IP address whether your phone is on or not. But this new era, they don't think that way. So they think they're unstoppable.
One of the things that are now gone in this era is anonymity. And you think because you went online and you made a random name online and put a different picture up as your profile,
that they can't find you.
For instance, have you ever heard of swatting? Swatting.
Okay, no. So I heard of squatting.
Nope, swatting. So it started in the gaming community, which is also obviously this generation's big push, which is, like I said, the internet money. Because back in the day, you would tell your kids, don't sit around and play video games all day. Go read a book or go do. Now I can't tell my kids that because if they're good enough and they know how to produce videos.
Yeah, in the underground gaming world,
So swatting is a thing where these kids who are hackers will, fight with somebody online or whatever, and they end up sending the SWAT team to that person's house. No. They'll call in like a fake murder, fake suicide or something like that and hack it in to where when they trace that call or they give them that address.
So I didn't know about swatting, but I do know about one time David was playing online with someone. Big David, not the little one.
Thank you for the distinction, because this story's probably about to get wild.
Yeah, he was arguing with somebody like online. I don't even know what. I think they were playing like Call of Duty or something like that, and they were going back and forth over it. And the guy was like, "Okay, you better stop all that mad talk before I shut your internet down." He like, "Bro, whatever, shut up. You ain't gonna do nothing. Come on, pull up on me." Bro hacked our internet somehow. And he could not connect onto the internet for I don't know how long. It was like a couple of hours.
It's wild, man.
But it's just wild. But that's the part that this era also does not understand, right? They keep everything digitalized.
Yes.
Everything. Everything is digital.
Speaking of digital, I got a list of all the things that our generation understands that the new generation won't.
Okay.
And it says, on this day 15 years ago, my mom picked up the phone and interrupted a file at 96%. I've been downloading from Napster for 17 hours.
That is a different hurt. That is a different type of hurt.
Heartburn.
But I was saying that to say the old school era, we keep hard cash. You have a cash stash anywhere just because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't want the service to crash or anything. This new day and era, they don't carry any cash. Like, I mean, I try my best to have cash on me sometimes, But
I'm guilty of it too, but I have cash at the house. Like
that's what I'm
little
saying.
stashed
Yeah,
around.
at the house.
Yeah.
They trust the internet enough to keep it all in a crypto account or this digital account or this type of an account, because if those servers go down, how do you
So
get money?
those of y'all that may not understand why the whole Y2K thing was so, and some of y'all were born, what is it, 2022? So people can drink that were born after that happened.
I don't even know what the Y2K is.
You don't know what the Y2K thing was? So what happened in the year 2000? Damn, I'm old, man. What happened in the year 2000 was way back.
What does Y2K stand for? Year 2000.
Yeah.
Oh,
So a
okay.
lot of conspiracy theorists and like end of the world people were like, the world's gonna end on.
Oh, like the 2012. Oh, with the
Right.
Mayans and all of that. Okay.
So it was a computer thing though, because the way the computers were made, it's ones and zeros, right? And it's all a series of numbers and all of that.
I do remember that.
So with the year going from 99 to 00, the thought was the computer system would think it was resetting and going back to the start. So all of the data held in computers and banks and everything that was ran now digitally would reset. So everybody's money would be zero.
Okay, I knew what that was. I just didn't know that it had a title.
Yeah,
I just thought it was
Y2K.
called the blackout or when they thought the world was going to end.
Y2K. Because it effectively would have ended the world, because the way our world, think about today.
Yeah.
If the banks were to crash, if the digital system and the banks and everything was to crash today and nobody had money anymore, it would be complete anarchy.
And that's why I say some of these TV shows, they make it so falsified, as if you can just go to the bank and be like, give me 500,000.
Did you see?
Take that out.
Did you see Soldier Boy tried to go get money out and posted because he was mad they only could give him 20,000 of his money?
Yeah. Like, if you get money, you would know that. You have to put in a request for that type of money. I mean, that they don't just hold that type of money in a bank, because that's why people would rob them, dummies.
Right.
Like,
even when you deposit, which is, okay, this is some definite new age, and it took me a while to get used to this, and now it's the only way I deposit checks. But the digital app on the app, but you still only can access a certain amount of that money until
it
clears or whatever.
Yep.
I've never, I'm old school like that too. Where I'm like, this is my money. Like,
I want it. It's my money, and I need it now.
J.G. Wentworth, baby. That's, you know what I mean.
Oh man.
So I don't know, man.
But listen, y'all, we have more that we are going to cover with the ending of this era and what era are we? What was the best era, and what do we bring back, and what do we let go? Okay, so make sure you guys follow us on social media at princess_on_air
and at Kujo_speaks. When we come back, I will be reading a lot of these nostalgic things. I'm reading this list. I'm like damn near crying because I realize all the good things are really gone.
We getting old, y'all. But don't touch it out. Make sure you guys continue to comment, send in our comments. Make sure you guys download that app and scan the code if you tune in once a day. And you tune in 13 times in a row for the whole month, you'll get a special prize. So make sure you guys stick around for that code or the QR code. You can scan it however you choose. But don't touch it out. We're going to get into some hot spot. We'll be right back.
Alright, so the boy done got one of these strawberry crunches from Satisfying Creations. We're gonna see how it is. We're gonna see how this boy is. I waited forever for it, but we're gonna see. Hell yeah. Okay.
Hey guys, it's your girl, Shayna Kurt, and I'm the creator of Satisfying Creation, homemade sweets and treats. A fun fact about how this company actually got started was because I was just craving banana pudding. I was pregnant, COVID had hit, everything was shut down, and I was going to get my banana pudding one way or another. So I got in the kitchen, I started whipping up some things, and the rest is history. I'm actually doing what I love and what I enjoy. I love baking. I love cooking, making comfort food. I love seeing the smile on people's faces when they try my desserts and try my food. It's such a good feeling. So I know that I'm doing something right. I'm just so proud of myself for actually, taking this chance and putting myself out there. And the reaction and the feedback has been really wonderful. The downside to having a business, though, is really just like time management. It's a lot of dedication. You gotta be focused on it. You gotta get your ducks all in a row. Like, you really gotta know what you're doing. But I would say just keep going. If you have an idea, if you have something that you want to do, but you're like, hesitant, just do it. The worst thing that can happen is that it just doesn't go anywhere. But how do you know if you never try? And that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to take Satisfied Creations to the next level. I'm hoping to get into a building one day or even have a food truck. That's where I want my business to go. I want it to just grow, and grow. So right now I'm doing different pop-up shops and vendor events. And I'm putting myself out there, and I'm going to keep doing this until they tell me to stop. But, the people love it. I love doing it. So that's where we're at. And that's all I can say, Satisfying Creation. If you want delicious homemade desserts, treats, and comfort food, come check me out. Thank you.
What is up, everybody? We are back on the Good Time Show. Hello. Shout out to the lovely Hot Spot feature. But on today's show of Think About It Thursday, we are talking about the end of an era.
We're talking about how old we are, basically.
I mean, we're not old, we're wise,
old
right?
Enough.
We're seasoned.
You call it what you want to call it.
We're seasoned. That's what I tell people who have gray hairs. You're seasoned.
I say that too. I do think so. And I don't.
Well, not everybody, because I know some people with gray hair who and dumb and immature. Oh, can we talk about the immature adults?
Oh goodness.
Please.
Those are the ones who fit into this new generation.
I hit my mic. My bad.
That's the ones that love this new generation, because the ones that always try to stay hip and current and try to, you know what I'm saying. You got the dudes that are 50 something still rocking the jersey with the with the
headbands and
I was trying to do-rag with the do-rag and the fitted over.
And I mean the dudes who, like you said, they 40 but they still in the club trying to get booths and bottles. And listen, do not get me wrong, okay? The older you get, the more you are supposed to enjoy life.
Yes.
You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to want to, wine and dine. But you should be doing it with a class.
Age appropriate.
And an age appropriate group, okay? There is nothing more unattractive than an adult who acts like a kid.
Yeah.
You act your shoe size, but not your age.
I don't, and this is just a personal thing for me, but when the whole backpack, fanny pack, little mini backpack across the chest thing started.
With the guys.
And I'm like, okay, that must be a young dude thing. And now I see all of these
older
supposed hood ninjas, the older cats wearing the skinnies off their ass with the small little back, with the shirt that looked like a halter top. And I'm like, dog.
And can we please bring back men dressing up? Like, what people don't understand is when we talk about an era, right? When we talk about, even when if you want to get illegal with it, right? Mm-hmm. When you want to get into the drug dealing and the gangsters, right? Yeah. The gangsters wore suits. They dressed up. Back in the day,
Like
they
the Frank
dressed
Lucas
up.
days,
It was we're clean,
the
we're
mob
classy,
days.
we're respected.
You never seen a mob dude and not in a suit of some sort?
What is it with these new gangbanger corner boppers that are looking, homeless? Like, yeah, you might come from the bando, but if you got all this money, why your toilet don't flush?
Right.
Why you ain't got no running water? I mean, like, it's just those little bitty things that we are starting to ostracize as being cool because you're in the trenches. Get it? I said the right word today.
No, I don't even sound right today.
Well,
the trenches.
You're in the trenches.
There we go.
And we're recording that and we're putting that on videos as if like now it's a difference in you're making a video of this is where I came from and this is where I am now. We all have struggled. We've all been through things, and that's just the progression of life. You get what I'm saying? But that goes into your progression of your growth of your story.
Well, generationally, though, I'm saying it goes into how the fact that being a gentleman now, and you say like saying chivalry is dead. Men aren't encouraged to dress like a gentleman, act like a gentleman, be a gentleman. Everybody's encouraged to be a savage.
Even the women. They're encouraging the women to be a baddie.
Be a baddie.
You don't need no man. Listen, I'm sorry. Let's back it up. You do need a man because I don't want to pump gas. I don't want to cut grass. I don't want to take the trash out.
You know what's funny?
I don't want to go kill that spider that's been crawling on my window for like 5 hours.
Don't want to do that either.
Like, they don't. They squirmy. They be.
Unfortunately.
Boy, if you don't.
I don't like spiders, but I'll get one. I will say though, no, don't let me get on here and lie because rats and mices.
Oh yeah, mesis. Yeah, I don't do them.
No, not my style.
I don't do any living mechanism.
If it's alive, I ain't doing it.
Humans, rats, insects, humans. My kids. I don't really care for it. It's a 0 out of 10. Very ghetto. Tomato.
They didn't have to tell Princess to stay 6 feet away from people. That was already her requirement.
That was already a thing. And you know what's crazy? Again, it goes by experience. It goes by your growth and your maturity. Yeah. I was not always this way. I know a lot of people are always like, oh my gosh, how old is Princess? Because I talk as if I'm like super duper old, but it's because I lived a super advanced life when I was very young. So I was that naive girl who believed people didn't steal from you. I was that friend that was so nice because I just wanted these people to hang out and I just wanted to party, and I was just that life of the party type of thing.
In a time that could be like that. So when it switched over, and I was the same way. So my brother is 10 years older than I am. So, and my sister's 5 years older, but I used to kick it with my brother all the time. So from the time I was 7, 8 years old, my brother was 17, 18, and I'm living and hanging out with him. And we moved all around the world. So I'm stuck with his friend groups and kicking it, and I wasn't interested in kicking it with kids my age. So
because they were regular schmegular.
Right. As the generations changed, I was in that group that understood what they understood. And the new kids that were my age, like enjoying all this new stuff, I'm like, why would you want to do that stuff? That's weird.
Yeah.
So it's about having an old soul, I guess, which I wish
a lot of them
had.
don't. So it's like, but you live and you learn, most people are very trusting and they don't take the things that they have in life and understand that there's a bigger meaning for them.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this on multiple shows, and I don't care who you pray to, who you believe in, but one thing that we all have to understand is death is inevitable.
Yeah, it's happening.
Right?
No matter what.
So it's either you take the signs earlier on to try to prolong, your death date,
Yeah.
Or you continue to run in riffraff and ignore the signs, and your death date will approach you a lot sooner than you expected. And I just had to learn that in life. My parents, I came from a great background, but I get what you're saying. You know, sometimes parents can be preaching these things to you, and as a child, sometimes you do have to bump your head a little bit in order to, you know, see it from that same point of view, and then you'll say, "Oh, yeah, my parents was right."
And I feel like that is one of those cliche things as well that just happens every generation, where you're gonna go through that with your kids.
Sometimes. When I say sometimes,
I would say more often than not, but it's not.
I say it depends on the group of people that you're placing around your children as well. The reason why I battled and straddled, you know, the fence of, you know, growth and all these things was because the path my parents had me on was a great path, and I was way ahead of my time. But the people I was hanging around was average day-to-day people. So they didn't understand the sacrifices that I was making to get to where I was, because they just wanted to party, have fun, pop bottles, date dudes, and all those kinds of things. But when you put your kids in a predicament where they are around like-minded people who they focus on their business savviness too, they get it a lot sooner, because they're like, oh, snap. If I'm making this and he making that, I want to make what he making. So now it's encouraging me to do better, versus continuing to put ourselves in situations where, not saying that we're better than anyone, but it has to be a balance, right? 50-50. You have to be around people who you can encourage, and then you have to be around people who also encourage you.
And because I try to teach my kids that. Luckily for me, I'm really super real with my kids. And I let them know, like this conversation we're having right now, I had similar conversations with them while they were growing up. Like, look, I want you guys to enjoy the world. I want you guys to be kids to a certain extent, but you're going to realize that people your age are going to do things, and they're going to get forgiven, or it's going to get written off as, oh, this is just what kids do. But then they have a late start. Like everybody says, oh, when you're in your mid-25s, or you're 25 or in your mid-20s, that's when you start to figure life out and you're done making your mistakes. And I'm like, why even make any of those mistakes when you can figure it out? You can figure it out now, and you can get yourself on the right track and get successful, and then you'll have much more fun partying or whatever you want to do when you're successful and you got the money to do so. So
absolutely, my
kids understand that, and I think they're gonna be similar to me where it comes to like this new generation. And like they'll say all the time, oh, these kids in school
they're wild. Like, you know what I'm saying?
These
like,
young kids, I'm like, bro, you realize you're only 16,
like,
right?
But that's how it's supposed to be.
I feel
you
like
get
it is.
You get what I'm saying? Because
so.
When we start doing that now, we're changing this generational curse, right? We're stopping them from making unnecessary mistakes that sometimes you can't come back from these mistakes.
Right.
I mean, think about the people who they think, oh yeah, my first time drinking, you know, I can handle my liquor, and they crash and they take someone's lives. Like, why let them make these frivolous mistakes? Because it could be their whole entire future, their whole entire career. So curving the ball earlier and earlier with them is the goal, to where, okay, if you made that mistake at 18, now my kids caught it at 16.
Right.
Now they have even more of a head start. Now my other kids are going to catch it at 10. Like,
that was my thought process. But I will say, on behalf of the people that blame our generation for effing the world up, I would have to agree with that, because our parents' generation was, I think, the last solid, like, really strong, solid, foundational generation. No,
it's the generation after us.
No, I think our generation is where it started.
The millennials?
Our generation is where it started, because when the millennials, who are the parents of Gen Z?
You're right.
So we started to be lucid. That's when all the gentle parenting started, and the stop eating your kids and all that.
Dang, millennials.
It was our, right. And
you know why? I could understand why. Because millennials are stuck between, am I old, but I still want to be young. So therefore, they're not parenting, because they feel like, oh, I'm still young enough to party, but not understanding you are the adult in a lot of these situations.
We had a really, for lack of a better word, we had a really shitty time to grow up in, because
time to be alive.
Look at how much the world changed for us. like the booming of technology happened
Like
in
skyrocketed.
our formative years. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the world flipped from night to day like that
But wouldn't you
during
think,
our time. So
you know, and that's, you're right.
how do you navigate? So how do you navigate that for one? And now all the ways of parenting that we learned from our parents, we can't really apply them the same ways because the world is so much different than it used to be.
And it's the
You know.
parenting, but it's also the selfishness, right? So think about, okay,
Yeah.
during the millennial times, right? Let's just say you graduated 2010, 2011. Back in high school, there was only MySpace, right?
Oh.
So with only MySpace, you didn't really have no friends. You didn't have the attention that there is now, right?
Taking you off
Fast
my buddy
forward-
list, bitch.
Fast forward to now, there's TikTok, Instagram. Back in high school, you were, you know, a little fugly. You know, you weren't the best of your ability, but you've grown. You
Gonna
glowed
show
up.
out.
You know, so now on TikTok, Instagram, you're showing out. So now you're so busy with the interactions and the likes of everything else on social media, you're forgetting to be a parent.
Yeah.
That's the problem
That
with our
too.
generation, because they crave, okay, I didn't get attention in high school. I didn't get
Yeah.
attention from my family. So now I'm going to get attention from social media all day, every day. I'm going to do whatever I can to get a like. I'm going to do whatever I can to be popular. It's
and
a
the
popularity
distancing too.
contest.
So like you said, being selfish and them having, wanting to have their own lives now or whatever the case may be. And then part of parenting now, and I'm guilty of this too, purely because I don't know how to do it. Not how to do it, but I put Coco Melon on, and my kids sit and watch Coco Melon for hours because now
Yeah.
they're addicted to watching Coco Melon. My son is addicted to a phone or a tablet or a,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like my girls aren't as bad with technology, well, their phones with TikTok and all that, but as far as like playing games, video games, and all that stuff, my oldest son sold their PlayStations and they're focused on real estate and working out, and so they're doing better, but most parents these days, when you have young
The
kids,
screen time is easy.
what are you gonna do? You're gonna take
So-
your tablet and go sit down somewhere.
So
Like,
with that, I I feel like this era, we kind of gotta like mix it up, right? Like, yeah, play a Coco Melon, but then like I've started looking up like learning rap song, like all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Gracie's Corner is one,
that's
but
great, yeah.
other fun
Which we
cartoon
need to get
things
Gracie's Corner
that
on here, by the way.
we definitely do.
Yes.
But other fun cartoons that's learning, because then you start to realize kids truly do learn through play, right?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people didn't understand with like preschools and all that kind of stuff, and how they've changed the school systems even in this era. I mean, my son is in first grade and he has spelling tests every single week with
Does
10
he
words.
But does he have spelling tests on paper, or do they
Yes.
do them on the tablets?
No, it's paper.
A lot of these schools don't even use paper and pen
And
no more.
that's the hard part too with this whole era.
Speaking of switching eras, a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago, my daughter comes home because, like I said, I teach them everything about how we used to do things and yada yada yada. And she tells me that her teacher goes, today we're going to do things the old way. And they were like, what do you mean? And she goes, pull out a paper and a pen. I'm like, the old way?
Oh
This
my
is
god!
school. What do you mean, the old
And they wonder
way?
why these kids don't know how to do a
They don't
signature.
teach them cursive anymore.
Because, and so Jay always jokes and he's like, then why did I have to take Mandarin back in high? And it's
you.
like certain classes that we had to take.
If
I
you're
mean,
not even going to
they're
teach me
dead
cursive,
now.
why do I need to know?
We had a whole cursive class and we had a whole computers class
Facts.
where they taught you how to type and all these things.
Oh, I used to love computer. Do you
Kids
remember
don't
they used to have like the test to see how many words a minute?
Yes, you could
I used
type.
to love it.
Ah.
I was a beast.
But you know what's crazy? If half these kids that are on social media had to take that test, they'd fail.
They fail. Yeah.
They'd fail because their phone gives
So
them spell
sad.
check.
There's shortcuts
They don't
for
know how
everything.
to actually put the home keyboard. I remember
Wording.
you used to have to do home keyboard and you have to move and
Mhm.
orchestrate your fingers based upon that.
Yeah.
And spell check. These kids can't spell.
No.
I
What
mean,
was it? Not to put you on blast, son, and I won't say which one it is because I have 5 sons, so y'all can just speculate who it is.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe.
You will know. You'll know. You kind of know my kids. You know which one be acting dumb. But we were talking about something, and I told him to look up something about education, and he was like, I'm like, you didn't find it? He was like, well, how you spell education? I was like, no, I failed as a father.
But you know, those are the things that this technology is happening. And even when you speak about, you know, this era, that's why I felt like homeschool, like when quarantine, like I know that was like the best that they could do because the kids were out of school,
sucked.
but it really jacked up a lot of kids.
I truly think the education system, right, and it wasn't like they needed any kind of setbacks.
It was already lacking. Yeah.
And not even all to their fault because schools right now, and this might be the generational change as well. When I ask them what they're doing in school, the content of what they're learning is so much more dumbed down than what we had. They don't have homework anymore. They do all their homework on computers in school for the most part.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make the high schoolers more like that.
Even he's in elementary. Even elementary, he never has homework to bring home.
Yeah, that's true, because some of his homework is on the iPad. And
they do it all in Schoology or whatever program they're using.
But I felt like with them doing homeschool that it took out that factor of actually knowing the answer. Because when you're on the iPad, you can listen to it, read you the question, and then it reads you the answers, and then you basically pick and choose. Get these kids anxiety like y'all did us.
Oh yeah.
Bring out that Scantron.
Oh my
you know what I'm saying?
Scantron,
and you got a A, B, C, D bubble.
You know what
and
I
you
wish?
have to have that anxiety of, is that really the right one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me erase it.
If it's like a 100-question math test, by the time you get to the 20th question, it all starts to like
look the same. It just start format. No.
They don't know about
They need
none of
to
that.
know and that's the part that it's like. Those are the still fundamental things that kids still need to know.
You would think so.
That are lacking.
Okay, but let me ask you this though, because I think a lot of younger people, when we talk like this, they're like, "Oh, you just mad? We ain't got to go through what you went through."
No.
What percentage of that do you think is the whole like somebody said it to me like you had to go through this, so I had to go through this, so you're gonna go through this because you'll learn from it. What percentage of it do you think is us being mad that they're not going to learn what we learned because of the same way of, like, I had to walk to school through the snow. You know what I mean? So I appreciate.
So for me,
and they don't have to do that. You know
for
what I
me,
mean?
it's not necessarily of I'm upset that you don't have to do this, because my goal is to make each generation, you know, jobs and lives easier. The thing of it is respecting it. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to go through the struggle, but respect it. So when you say, "Oh, I'm tired," tired from what? You don't really know what tired is. You are blocking yourself from pushing yourself further just because this block. Let me tell you what tired is. Tired is doing A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, and still having to go all the way back around and do it again. When most of these kids would be like, "Oh, A, B, I'm tired." No, push yourselves, because you can push. So I think that's where more of my frustration comes in with the whole them just not pushing themselves to the full potential, or understanding and respecting that there's more out here.
Thinking their life is harder than it actually is.
Exactly.
And I think as far as teachable moments go, I've gotten lucky, if you can use that term for my situation, because of my back and because of my standing physically and the amount of things I still accomplish and get up and do, and I'm always busy, and I got the show and the network so they see me overcoming adversity constantly, and they know how much pain I'm in. They know how much lack of sleep I have. Yet they still see me get up and go do my thing. So when they're talking about, "Oh, I'm exhausted," and all I did was go to school, and they say it to me, and I'm like, "Excuse me?" They're like, "Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm just," you know what I mean? Instead of being like,
and then that's when, that's when like my gentle parenting side comes in, right? So like I'm such a flip-flop parent, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's not to say that like I'm discrediting your energy level, or I'm discrediting how you feel.
Yes.
I understand that you may be tired, and I understand that, you know, you may be exhausted. That means that you need to raise your bar.
Facts.
Because if going here and here is your level of exhaustion, then we need to raise that, because in life, you're going to have to do a lot more than that, and you can't get exhausted here because you will not achieve.
No,
so
and
that's
a
when like
parenting thing too. Like I think a lot of parents now, what I will say, this generation is affording us as parents that we weren't afforded, is the fact that our parents were like, this is how it is. Listen to what I'm saying. I had it harder than you had it. You be in the sit like, get
I
up.
cooked it, eat it, or you're going to starve.
Like stuff like that. Like, you didn't have it as hard as I had it, so you ain't even got the right. You don't have the right to be tired, or you don't have the right to So I think this generation has gotten better at teaching those values and things without being super forceful and disregarding your kids' feeling. Like my daughter's this morning, she was super tired. She went to bed early. You know what I mean? I couldn't be like, oh, you're staying up late. She went to bed early. She woke up. She was tired this morning. So instead of being like, just tough it out, get up, I'm tired too, I got less sleep than you, I was like, well, what's the deal? Like, you had a headache? Are you, your stomach hurt? Are you sick? Like, you're not sick? Are you just tired? Some days you're just going to be tired, baby. You just got to try this, try that. You know what I mean? Instead of being like, man, get up, we're being a sissy. Like, this,
and you know, it just depends. Because some days we have those conversations. And then some days I'm going to be like.
Some days, if they legitimately
okay, and I'm tired too. Get up. You know, but it's a balance.
If you know your kid, and here it goes back to what you were saying about this generation being selfish. A lot of these parents don't take the time to really know their kids.
They don't.
What they do is they go to work, they send their kids wherever they send their kids, and then they come home and they might cook them dinner or order food, and they sit down and have small talk for an hour while they're eating, and then the kid goes to their room to do whatever, and the parent
if they even sit down and eat with the kid. I mean, some parents, the kid will eat while the parent's at work because I already cooked dinner before you went to work, and I see you before bed, and that's it.
Unfortunately, in my household, that's how it is. My older kids all have jobs. And sports and stuff. So by the time I get home, they're at work still. The babies are getting bathed, and then my wife puts the babies down. Then the older kids get home from work, and then they're going to bed because they got to And then, so we're all moving ships in the night. But but we still take the time when we make the time to talk and to
in betweens and all that kind of stuff. And I also think with this era that a lot of kids from previous and current are looking at their parents and their family members as examples. And that's why I say we have to put better examples around our kids.
Because this generation is looking at their parents and
like the newer generation. And I'm saying they're looking at them as examples saying, well, why do I have to do that? You did it, and look how your life turned out. You get what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that, like, as parents, as adults, we have to.
I'll admit, I use that all the time.
Yeah, and
I say that all the time.
Yeah, and I mean that's really how kids think about it, because your parent is the one who is supposed to show you the ropes, right? They're supposed to show you different things in the world, expose you to different lifestyles so that you can be aware that, okay, this is out there in the world. And if you're not providing that for me and you're telling me to go to school, do my homework, my chores, for what? What is that getting me? You're still working a deadbeat job. We're still struggling. We don't have this. We don't have that. So that's why it's very important to place your kids in different opportunities. There's so many free programs out here that we can sign our children up for them to take trips, and the parents can go on these trips. A day trip to a university or a college or a historical museum and all those kinds of things that parents overlook. And that's the part that the parents in our generation, these millennial parents, and yes, I will say it, these millennial parents are selfish. You will research how to get a BBL, a 360 in Puerto Rico, but you won't research how to get your child in a extracurricular activity outside of school, or a football program, or a reading program. Get out of here. So it's our fault.
I think I'm going to have our US 1 magazine editor write up a article about how the millennials have ruined the generation that's here now.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, it is our fault.
Yeah.
When they always said, well, the just generation of kids is going to be the future of the planet, like, we're the ones that have raised all of these kids that we're complaining about.
I know someone right now. I'm not going to say any names because if they watch this, I don't want nobody to think I'm talking about them. But if the shoe fits, it fits. Clearly, I'm talking about a variety of people. But personally, I know a young girl who, she innocent. I mean, like didn't care about dressing up. Like, it was just her thing to just be comfy. Like you said, your daughter said, just comfy, like to be comfy, hoodies, all that kind of stuff, baggy stuff. But the mother had a daughter, which was her daughter, obviously, and wanted a best friend so bad, and started putting her, like, ideals of what a best friend, daughter, girl should be, and, like, girlified her. And it changed the direction of her. So she went from just being like, you know, funny, not caring about boys, and, you know, all that kind of stuff, to dating boys, wearing crop tops, wearing short shorts, getting sew-ins, getting nails done, and all these types of things. And a lot of parents go through this, even with their sons, right? They want their sons to be the man of the house. So you place all these responsibilities on your son as if he's your man, making him take out the trash, fix your car, do these things. And that's your child, not your man. And these women are doing the same thing for the girls, which is why we're wondering why these girls are dressing so provocative at a young age. But it's because their mother is allowing it. I'm telling you, when I was a child and I was 14, 15, I could not wear crop tops. Right. My midriff section could not be showing. No. My shorts had to be freaking shorts.
I still to this day.
Shorts.
Now, I will say this, because I do talk to...
Not saying that that's what I wore. I mean, I did sneak, but that was my parent. That was my parents' guidelines. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference when you sneak. And they caught me all the time. They caught me.
I think there's a fine line, too, between... I've had to soften up just a tad bit with my daughter, because she does want to wear a little more sexy, revealing stuff sometimes. And of course, I'm like, hell no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But she's 16. 2 years, she'll be 18 and out of the house. She's going to graduate at 17. She'll be out of high school at 17.
Yeah.
So I've got to realize that at some point, my daughter is going to experience and want to be sexy and want to wear X, Y, and Z things. Yeah. So now that she's 16, I'm starting to loosen up a bit on what I'm, you know,
but it's her exploring. It's not your wife being like, hey, I think you should wear this crop top. Hey, I think you should wear these heels. She would never. And that's where a lot of the dynamic mix is going up to. Or like you would never go to your sons and be like, hey, what you think about this girl? She got a big butt. I think you should date. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, if they show me a picture of some girl, I'm like, oh, she cute.
Yeah.
She got a body.
But you're not taking girls.
I'm not gonna be like, yo, you should get this shit. Yeah, and there's far too many, and that's
another conversation for a whole nother day on men and how they raise their boys, and we're gonna get into that one another day.
Oh yeah, that's actually, we gotta write that down. Yeah, I don't know if we got that on our topic list.
Yeah, oh no, we do.
Is it on there?
Yeah. Okay. Pervert the perverts. Yeah, we talking about that.
That's like that story we talked about last season with the dude who ended up marrying the ex-wife's baby, the daughter.
Oh yeah, listen, it's
the same kind of.
And I've seen only more. It's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. But listen, y'all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into a small break, and then we're gonna come back and we are going to read some more comments. Okay, guys. So
if y'all been seeing me look down, it's because I've been reading these crazy comments.
they coming in. Okay,
it's wild. We really are getting old, y'all.
Yeah, we are.
I miss a lot of these things.
I really do.
I'm gonna turn my house back into a 90s house. With a projector screen for the living room instead of a TV.
All right, y'all, don't touch it out. It's the Good Time Show. We'll be right back.
Alright, so the boy done got one of these strawberry crunches from Satisfying Creation. We're gonna see how it is. We're gonna see how this boy is. I waited forever for it, but we're gonna see. Hell yeah. Okay.
Hey guys, it's your girl, Shayna Kurt, and I'm the creator of Satisfying Creation, homemade sweets and treats. A fun fact about how this company actually got started was because I was just craving banana pudding. I was pregnant, COVID had hit, everything was shut down, and I was going to get my banana pudding one way or another. So I got in the kitchen, I started whipping up some things, and the rest is history. I'm actually doing what I love and what I enjoy. I love baking. I love cooking, making comfort food. I love seeing the smile on people's faces when they try my desserts and try my food. It's such a good feeling. So I know that I'm doing something right. I'm just so proud of myself for actually, taking this chance and putting myself out there. And the reaction and the feedback has been really wonderful. The downside to having a business, though, is really just like time management. It's a lot of dedication. You gotta be focused on it. You gotta get your ducks all in a row. Like, you really gotta know what you're doing. But I would say just keep going. If you have an idea, if you have something that you want to do, but you're like, hesitant, just do it. The worst thing that can happen is that it just doesn't go anywhere. But how do you know if you never try? And that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to take Satisfying Creations to the next level. I'm hoping to get into a building one day or even have a food truck. That's where I want my business to go. I want it to just grow, and grow. So right now I'm doing different pop-up shops and vendor events. And I'm putting myself out there, and I'm going to keep doing this until they tell me to stop. But, the people love it. I love doing it. So that's where we're at. And that's all I can say, Satisfying Creation. If you want delicious homemade desserts, treats, and comfort food, come check me out. Thank you.
What is up, y'all? We are still here on this Think About It Thursday, okay? I'm your girl, the Princess of All.
And I'm Kujo Speaks.
And, I keep hitting this mic. Oh, man. I'm sorry,
If
y'all.
y'all haven't noticed, which you might have or you might have not, we got the little handy-dandy microphones on.
Handy-dandy.
So we've been trying to play around with our audio and making sure we have the best, clearest, crisp
sound
situation
for y'all.
So you gotta give us a
Probably
little
because I
bit.
keep playing in my hair. I probably should just leave it alone.
I don't think they even noticed until you said something.
Okay. Well, we're still here on this Think About It Thursday, all right, y'all? We have some comments and actually some statistics about this new era. So today's topic has been ending a new era. What era are we in? What was the best era? What are some things that were in old eras that are not in this era of and when I say era, obviously generations, okay?
Yeah.
Which ones? Who the best? Who the best? All right, y'all.
We'll answer that after we get in our conclusion. I guess we'll try to wrap that
in the
up.
final warning.
Because that's weird. Because my thought at the beginning of this episode of who the best generation has changed since we've been talking about what we've been talking about.
Really?
I'll explain in the closing.
Okay. I'm still trying to decide.
So, I found a list, and this list came from boardpanda.com, and it really made me feel incredibly old and sad.
Oh, no.
And I miss a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
So, and there's some pictures that I'll make sure I post the link or try to post the link for you all to see this exact article. One is a floppy disk. Do you remember floppy disks?
I do remember floppy disks.
So Bill Gross said, I'm getting old department. A kid saw this and said, oh, you 3D printed a save icon?
Not a save icon.
Yeah.
Not a save icon.
I mean, I wouldn't have.
I was going to say, it's no purpose for a floppy disk now. I mean, they don't even make computers with hard drives anymore.
That's just like a lot of cars don't have a CD player.
Yeah, that's true too.
Wow. I seen what was it? I want to say it was Tank or one of them old R&B singers, and he did a reel where he was signing CDs, and then he did like his consciousness, and he was like, everybody loves the CDs. Like, I'm gonna sign all these CDs, and kind of like, who doesn't listen to CDs? And he was like, who doesn't have a CD player in their car? And he was like, wait a minute.
Who does?
I don't I don't have a CD player in my car. Is anybody even gonna listen to these?
That is hilarious.
That would have been a great clip for us to play because it's so true.
Hilarious. That is very true.
I think I read this one already about Napster. That was sad.
Yeah.
Just put up a picture of a film canister. Do you remember when you had
when it gets all the way to the end and you gotta rip it off?
Film developed and
yeah.
it came in a little black canister.
Yeah, and then once you, well, if you had the the actual
Polaroid.
the Polaroid ones.
Oh, the
after
snap.
you got boom, and then you got to take that and go get it developed and drop it off, and they're like, oh, come back in 24, 48 hours.
I want to say they still sell those though.
It's very hard to find. It's very like you almost have to order them only online. They don't sell them in store.
Not like CVS. You can't go find throwaways. I guess I've never. Now that you got a phone, I don't see why. I guess I'm gonna go look.
Now
for one.
I have been to a few events where they do. They buy them and they get them from Amazon.
For weddings.
Yep, and they sit them on the table so that people can actually have the hard copies of the pictures.
Well, because the sad thing
always
is,
an
I don't
anxiety.
understand. They have all these filters now that make it look like you were using one of those cameras.
Yeah, but it's really
Why
not.
not just go get one of those cameras?
They tried to reinvent the Polaroid one, like making the mini ones where you do that and like it comes out, and it's not really the same effect. I mean, I want to tell y'all for a fact, I will go home and search my bin. I was the creator of selfies. With them Polaroid cameras, I knew how to turn it the perfect angle to capture it, and my selfie game on my Polaroids at home, phenomenal.
That's why you can't see good, because that bright ass flash.
That's why my eyes is messed up. It was right here all day. I was the one who...
You saw blue for hours.
Listen, I got Polaroid pictures in my mirror, and I knew how to perfectly angle it to where the flash did not darken me out in the mirror during the selfie. Like, I was selfie queen, okay? Let's just put that out there. And I will bring proof. I will bring proof.
Okay, I'm gonna hold her to that, and we will get those pictures.
Well, I don't know if I want to post them.
Oh, no. That's gotta happen.
The styles I was doing back then, I was like, oh, yeah.
That's happening. When we do a Think About It Thursday, we will feature a throwback segment.
Yeah, and I'm going to think about why I picked those outfits.
I used to have curly, I used to relax my hair, so I used to have like the... Yeah, we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah, we definitely going to have to think about some decisions that we made in the past. Yeah.
My daughter just asked me why we say hang up the phone. I still say hang up the phone.
Because somebody else is on the other line. And
hang
that's
up. Because you used to have to actually hang the phone up on the wall. That's why the term hang up the phone.
But you're right.
That's why that term is that
So
way.
what should we say now? In the call?
In the call. Press the button, fool.
In the call.
Press the end button. Press it.
Press the red button.
Oh,
wow,
man.
I never thought about that. I still say hang up the phone.
I do too, but I never thought about the origin of it.
I thought it meant like, dang. Now
even still,
you gotta hang and hang. Like, you're right. Okay.
You're like, oh, we both. Just like when we do this, kids don't understand why you do that.
They think you saying aloha or something.
Like,
they
actually, none of them put it to their face no more because it's always on speakerphone.
And they always have earpods.
Oh, it's terrible.
So terrible.
There's a picture of an old school projector. I'll try to
in school,
like
the boy they used to wheel in, and they used to them was the best days when you used to have to get up there and do examples, and you got to write on the projector board.
I would love it. That was the greatest.
That definitely was. That was
let's see. The DJ really just said, "Where my 2000s babies at?" and the crowd went wild. That's when I knew it was time for me to go home. Yeah. I think I was just talking about that one. That kids that were born in 2001 are 21 years old this year.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a picture of all the old school word arts. Remember all the different fonts and
when
word
you have
arts?
to go in there and you can do like the black and the white with the bold outline with the rainbow and they go like the
Why is the rainbow one right in the middle?
We definitely put in these pictures.
I wonder if can you still use that word art? Is that still available? Because we should do some promo with the old school word art.
I gotta look on there. But is it? See, they've changed Microsoft Word so much from then too. Think about it, because now you have Google Docs, you got Microsoft Word.
When I get home, I'm looking.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta look into that.
I was trying to find the best ones. A couple of months ago, my son picked up a phone at my work and said, "What's that noise?" His first dial tone. Oh man, I can't lie though. I haven't heard a dial tone in a really long time.
I hear dial tone only because my my other careers.
Oh yeah.
I have to sit at I sit at a desk with an actual physical phone.
Landline.
Yeah, landline phone.
That's crazy. When songs you rocked as a teenager are playing on the classic rock station, that gets me all the time.
Yeah.
Old school, like even now, I'll be listening to the oldie station and like
Certain stuff
Drake
come
will
on.
play on the oldie station.
Like, not oldie?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What best I ever had.
Oh, well, I guess
Best
that
I
would
ever
be
had.
considered, yeah.
That song is almost 20 years old.
Big.
Right? Didn't that come
That
out in
is,
like
yeah.
04, 03, 05?
Yeah, it did.
It's almost 20 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Wow.
Maybe it's just the Generation Z in me, but how did people burn CDs? Like, how did you just get a blank CD and put songs on it?
Man, I can walk you through a whole tutorial. Okay, you get bear share, you get allegedly. This is what people were doing during that time. And I think I saw a TikTok that had went back on it.
Yeah.
But on TikTok, it allegedly had said that you do bear share or LimeWire.
LimeWire was it.
Or FrostWire. FrostWire was nice too.
FrostWire was after LimeWire, right?
You downloaded them, yeah. You downloaded them to your computer, and then when you did that, you had the Windows Media Player.
Yeah.
And on the Windows Media Player, then you would put your songs on a playlist, and then you would insert the disc, and then you would hit burn, and it would just put them all on the CD, and then you got to write on there what mix you want. Because if it's just blank, then
for Christmas one year when I was
allegedly on
sophomore,
TikTok.
allegedly this happened. I was a sophomore and I got bought a CD player, an MP3 CD player.
Ooh.
So you could put like 100 songs on one CD. And it actually lets you select go through
what
and
was
select
on there?
the songs and like
that's fire.
That was incredible.
When MP3s first came out, dog.
It changed the game.
I had MP3s on like everything.
It
I mean,
changed the
like
game.
I had the handheld ones. I used to love Hello Kitty. I had a Hello Kitty MP3 player, but it was also a USB drive.
Oh, yeah.
So all I had to do was just connect it, put my songs in,
bloop.
and I can connect like my school-work if I had to take stuff back and forth to school and plug my headphones in.
So like I was saying, we grew up in that boom of that technology and all that fun, It was such
we created hackers.
We did. It was a great time in life for us to be young and being handed all this new, easier way to access stuff. It was wild. Speaking of accessing things easily, there's a picture of a roll-down window. Do they make any cars like that anymore?
I don't know.
I highly doubt.
They don't make them anymore.
I highly doubt a lot of these kids have even had to
manually do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an old school tape, just a
tape player.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of people do this too, like when they're talking about oldies or whatever, they'll hold up a pencil and they'll be like, what else is this used for? Not even that.
Beating.
Stick it in the tape to rewind the tape.
Oh, you could do that too. I thought you was meeting like beatbox when they be in there.
That's what most people will say, but you only know that
or the magic trick.
Ever had to do that?
Where you hold it in the middle and you go like this.
Oh yeah, make it bend.
But think about one even new current era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some kids will be like, "What's a car key?"
Oh yeah.
Because so many keys are pushed to start. They'd be like, "Where do I stick this?" In the ignition, fool. What do you think? Like.
Yeah, there's a Discman on here that was 79 cents to buy this Discman.
Man, remember the 99-cent store?
When it was actually 99 cents.
I mean, now the dollar store is like $1.25.
I think we talked about that last year too.
Yeah, like
I'm not a fan.
It's so sad. Let's not even talk about the elevation of gas.
Oh, that's
a whole era right there. I was telling
somebody the other day. So I grew up in a state where you could take pop bottles back to the store and get 10 cents for each can, right? A lot of states don't do that. So those of y'all that live in those states, like, yeah, that means a lot of states don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would take a bag or two, like a little grocery bag or two. It'd be like $3-4 worth.
Mm-hmm.
That would get me
to
school. That'll get me to work. That'll get me home.
Yep. Now
$4.
I can't even get a gallon of milk for $4.
I can't get to pump 3 from pump 4 for $4. It ain't gonna happen.
That is the truth. That is the truth.
My favorite new girl at work, who's 14, doesn't know who the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC are.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye. That's common, though.
Ow.
There's more people than you think that don't
That
know.
get them too mixed up.
That don't know who they are at all.
Oh, why wouldn't they know who they are at all? I mean, I can see getting them
Think
mixed
about
up,
it.
but I mean,
think about somebody who was born in.
You're right.
Think about a
You're right.
16-year-old today.
You're right.
Unless, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't bang.
My
NSYNC
son
at the
knows
house.
who Michael Jackson is just because we play him, and my son
Yeah.
likes to dance. But a
If
lot
you
of
don't
parents
play
are not
that
playing
music-
that in the house.
Yeah, if you're
you
not
know?
playing that music, how really would your kids know?
Yeah, that's sad.
Of course, they blanked out this person's name. Oh my God, I just found out Titanic actually happened and it wasn't just a film. Mind blown.
Baby girl.
So sad.
So yes, Titanic actually happened. The love story was false because they just added that in to make
Right.
it more appealing. But
Wait,
the
I thought
actual
it wasn't though.
no, I heard
I didn't think the whole the actual part of
like
it
Jack,
all
like
happened, but I
Jack
thought they were
and
actually-
Rose were
Oh, really? Completely
falsified.
fictional?
Yeah, they had because if they just made a movie about a boat that
So
crashed
I've
and people
hated a
died.
fictional woman this whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because if they just put it on a boat that crashed, no one's gonna watch it. But if you add a love scene into it, made it so more romantical, people love the history of it. But yeah.
Yeah. This one isn't too bad though. I remember showing a student worker a vinyl record about 8 years ago, and she finally asked, "How does this work?" and was absolutely stunned when I told her about turntables and needles. I'm not all the way like that's not even really a generational thing because unless you're really into music and really into vinyl and really
But I feel like
into-
shouldn't everybody know that music came on a record at one point?
Not really, because you got to think 8 tracks were out then, so people were already getting away from
That's true.
vinyl back in the
That's true.
70s.
Yeah.
And 8 tracks were used.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I can see
mean,
that one.
one ain't that was not too bad to me.
I can see that one.
My sister doesn't know who Brendan Fraser is, and I feel like I'm 200 years old spilling tales about fallen heroes. You know who Brendan Fraser is?
No.
You ever seen Encino Man? Or
Casino
Encino
Man.
Man. I'll have to show. I think if I show you who he is, because there's been this resurgence online for him too. Everybody forgot about Brendan Fraser, and growing up, he was in like every movie. The Mummy. He was in The Mummy.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him before.
What was the one with Elizabeth Hurley? Bedazzled or Bedazzled.
Let's see, The
Where he was making
Mummy, The Mummy
wishes,
Returns.
and she kept
Yep,
turning him into different
Bedazzled,
people.
Batgirl.
He was in a lot.
Encanto Man,
Yeah.
Airheads.
He did like 30 movies while we were growing up, and he was like the biggest thing out.
The Nut Job.
VCRs.
Yeah, nah, yeah,
VCR tapes.
He didn't do no, no movies.
I mean, I watched a lot of them because I hung out with a lot of Caucasian folks. So
yeah.
I was a Brendan Fraser fan. My kids didn't even know what a VCR was in a tape. But
My son doesn't know either.
I got one from my mom to watch my old basketball games, which I lost
I gotta
in the
find
house
one.
fire.
I think my grandma might have one. Well, let's not talk about
used to
house
have
fires
one.
and generations.
I used to have one. All kids these days don't know who Steve Irwin is.
Who's that?
The crocodile hunter.
Oh, just say that. That's what I know about the crocodile hunter.
Okay.
Isn't it
alright.
crazy? As much as crazy things that he did, he died by a freaking
Jellyfish. No, not jellyfish.
a bee.
Stingray.
A stingray bee, right?
Stingray.
Like this man fought alligators, bears, tigers, like
Stingray
everything.
got him right in the chest.
And the littlest thing
yeah.
is what took him out. But his son is following in
His
his
son is incredible.
footsteps.
His daughter
Yeah.
too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
about the daughter.
Pencil sharpeners, the ones on the wall.
Oh, yeah. Everybody got the
Yeah.
electric ones now.
Yeah. No, nobody's using pens and pencils in school.
You're right. Listen, there is nothing.
They don't need
If
them.
I'm writing something down, there is nothing better than a fresh, sharp, crisp
Oh man.
pencil.
Oh
Like,
man.
it just changes my whole handwriting
Everything's so
on a
different.
document. Like, I all of a sudden have neat handwriting. A good
Mm.
pencil and a good pen creates
you
a
can
good
freak-
penmanship.
You can freak
Like,
it when it's nice.
like I'm trying to tell y'all, okay?
So the last one that's prominent on this list is my sister doesn't know what Blue's Clues is, and suddenly I feel old. Which is funny because
The
if you
original
remember,
Blue's Clues, the
Yeah, the
original
OG.
Steve.
Steve, remember that video Steve posted?
Yes,
Had everybody
and he said that he
crying.
came back and he
Oh,
was like,
I never forgot about you, friends.
I went to college
Oh,
and
Steve.
I was like, Stevie.
All of us were.
Yes.
Steve was that dude.
Blue's Clues definitely have changed. I mean, think about Dora. Dora grown now. She got
right.
booty shorts
Got
on.
kids
Like,
and a job. Did you see the live action one that they made? They made a
No, I
real
didn't.
Dora. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
oh, the
but
movie
they made
one?
it,
Yeah, I didn't watch
Not a
that
fan.
one. Yeah.
Not a fan.
I don't like
All
when
right.
they take cartoon in real life. I
They're
can't make that
doing
crossover.
that a lot lately.
Yeah, like
and
Sonic
it's-
got me.
I didn't watch it.
Sonic got me. But the only reason why I like
Watch it.
Sonic so much is because I love me some Jim Carrey.
That's
And
why
Jim Carrey
I've seen
was in
parts
it.
of it, but so I
So,
think in my old age now, like I think I'm a little more cynical and I'm a little less able to suspend disbelief when it comes to like super kiddie
yeah.
movies and shows. So I mean, if the kids wanted to go
Sonic-
watch it, I'd sit down and watch it, but I can't sit down and
And
watch it
yourself.
myself.
Yeah, I watched it with the kids.
There's too much murder stuff.
Sonic
out there.
reminded me of The Mask.
Okay.
Like
I've
it
seen
gave
I've
that
seen
mask.
parts of it,
Yeah.
and I was like, I love like so Jim Carrey is my absolute
Yes,
all-time
I
favorite
love him.
actor in the
Yeah.
entire world. So there's a scene from Liar Liar, and it's the bloopers at the end. And me and my wife always say when they're in the, I think they're in the courtroom, and it's him and the shorter, I think she's a redhead, and she's like, they're going back and forth. And she's like, overactor. And he's like, he goes, Jezebel. She goes, overactor. And they crack up. He's like, he made me do it. We do that all the
I gotta
time.
watch. I never watched the bloopers on
It's
that
at the
one.
end
I'm Liar
during
Liar.
the credits. It's so
I
funny.
gotta rewatch that.
Okay, so that was the list of
Yes.
the 30 things that this generation would not know. Makes me feel very sad.
Thank you so very
I
much.
also found a really interesting article, and it gives these percentages for what the differences are. It's called Millennials versus Gen Z. How are they different? So this one breaks down like the actual factual percentages of things that millennials do versus percentage of Gen Z that do certain things or whatnot. So
Okay.
we already talked about the age ranges. We already talked about the years, how old. Okay, then it goes into all these facts, right? While 27% of millennials are buying more private label products to save money, only 13% of Gen Z does so.
So Gen Z spends more money
Gen Z is just buying,
because they
Whatever they
ruthless.
want.
That's why they gonna be broke in 10 years.
right. Millennials versus Gen Z, how are these generations different?
Millennials are penny savers.
Yeah, we like to crunch. We like to crunch them numbers, baby. Let's
Yeah,
save
we like
a couple
to save.
bucks.
Okay.
But then again, I think Gen Z, they money isn't as valuable to Gen Z as it was to us or is to us because of the avenues that they're able to produce income now.
I feel like
it's
it's
easier. It's more easily accessible to make this money.
it's
now.
not easier to make the money. They want to be flashier. Whereas the millennials, we understand
But
that being
because-
flashy, we got bills. Gen Z, they're still too young.
If you're on social media and you want to be an influencer,
Exactly, that's
you
what I'm
gotta
saying.
be flashy
That's what I'm
to
saying.
get
You
the
got to be
clicks,
flashy. So they're
so-
spending the money on the name brand to be flashy. So really, you're not really encompassing anything because I watched this video of this TikToker and he was showing his views. Like he literally screen shared his views and how he had like 20 million clicks, 30 millions of clicks, and he only made like $40 that day.
Yeah, people don't understand that too. So they're looking at all these influencers that are really making money off of there, but they don't understand that they have 10 years worth of content and they've been building that relationship with their platform.
And they're making the money off of endorsements,
Right,
not
and they
social
don't
media
know that either.
themselves.
So it's not. There needs to be more. And here's the sad part too. And this is kind of a little bit of an offshoot of what we're talking about. But this generation. No, actually, it's not. Because one of the streams of money that this generation is really making is these courses on how to do what they're doing.
God, no. That's a whole nother
one of
show.
them.
That's a whole nother topic.
It is,
Whole nother
and we can do another topic about it. But that is another revenue stream that this generation has somehow figured out how to capitalize on. And if you want to be a you want to be an influencer like me, just take my course and pay me $300, and I'll tell you exactly how to do it.
Pay me $150 and follow my digital workout plan and lose 50 pounds in 2
6
weeks.
minutes.
Like,
well, let me tell you what. All y'all gotta do is watch the Good Time show, and
we gonna expose it all.
On Free Game Fridays. We'll hook you up. You ain't got to pay none of those fees. You just got to download our free app.
Okay.
48% of millennials visit stores to get merchandise immediately, compared to 39% of Gen Z. I don't think that's a true statistic. I Amazon everything. They're saying our generation will go to the store to get what they want immediately versus ordering it.
No.
I think we're the order generation.
Not me.
Yeah, I'm ordering everything.
If I can't find it in the store, I'm gonna order it. But I want it right now.
I'll look.
I literally Google stuff and I'll be like, curtain rods in store. Which store has it right now for me to go get it? And then if I can't, then I'm going to overnight it to get it.
You saying that made me realize that I'm like that too.
Everything we be like.
I'll look at something and I'll know Amazon can have it to me tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, but they probably got it at Walmart. I redid my basement to where my cricket area is for my business.
Okay, gotcha.
And I moved my my folding tables over to the other side where my studio is. And I'm like, this looks dope. I go, but I need black table covers. And I could have ordered them and got them that next day.
But you wanted to finish the
I
product.
want to get this done now.
And I feel like that's the millennial. We want it done. When we start something, we want to finish.
Like, it's going to sit on my head for.
And I'm not going to get it done.
Hours.
Millennials, they link. Or the Gen Zs, they list of linger.
You know the sad part about it though? I couldn't find them.
Really?
So I had to wait till they got there the next
day.
And
that's
I went to like 6 different stores.
I think that's the other percent. Like when you have to wait, then we will. But if we can go out and get it right now, I'm gonna go right now.
You know what made me mad about it? And I should have called you. I got those stretchy table covers, the ones that we have. I went to Target. I went to Office Max.
Remember, we couldn't find them then too. Remember?
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to order them.
That sucks.
Crappy. 70%, 76% of Gen Z prefer convenience over brand, compared to 70% of millennials.
Wait.
Now, convenience is all about fast delivery. I'm assuming they're talking about like.
Oh, like Instacart, DoorDash, and all that kind of stuff. Yep. Yeah. They don't mind DoorDash. And me, look, okay, depends on the time, the day, the area, okay?
Yeah.
If I absolutely do not feel like getting out, yes, I will order, delivery. Mm-hmm. But if I have a little bit of energy to go do it, I'm going to save that extra service fee because I was going to do Instacart one day. I think it was Instacart. I don't know. I don't want to say the name of a company, but it was one of the cart deliveries. And it literally, so I was ordering like a case of water and stuff. Now, mind you, I was at home with the kids. My husband had drove to work, and I just did not want to haul all the kids out the house to go get water and stuff like that. I had the car. I just did not feel like hauling 3 kids out. So I was going to get it delivered. Case of water, like some milk, some cereal, like some wipes and stuff like that. They charged me an extra like heavy fee because they were bringing the water. So they charged me an extra heavy fee on top of the service fee, on top of the delivery fee, on top of what I was already buying. Wow. So therefore, the fees were another $15 to $20 on top of what my total already was. Mm-mm. Kids, get your shoes. We're going to the store. You know what I'm saying? And so, but the Gen Z, maybe they'd be like, oh, whatever, I'll pay those fees. But me, why am I about to pay you extra fees to deliver something? Some of these sites' fees do not add up. It make you not want to use it.
I realized one day, because I was about to say the name of it. I was getting food delivered. I was getting fast food delivered. If you're one of those companies that offer this service, you should hit us up if you want your name clearly said in our programming. But I was ordering McDonald's, and the order, was a breakfast order. 2 sandwiches, a big breakfast for the kids, little pancake joints. Yeah. And I think a couple hash browns and an orange juice. On that site, it was $53. I decided to go for myself. It was $21.
Exactly.
I was like, yo.
So,
and I use that site all the time because I'm usually.
But we never pay attention to it.
Because I'm just frivolous with it. I'm
Yep.
like, you know what, we want this food, or we don't feel like going to get it, whatever. I know it's going to be a little more expensive. It is what it is. And da-da-da-da-da. And usually it's for when we're doing meals for the entire family.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, even if we went out, it was going to be this price anyway.
Yep.
So it's not a big deal. But it was just for like 2 of us. And I'm like,
$50 for 2.
I can't stomach that. I mean,
because what we don't realize is when we use these sites, right, the way that they make their money is hiking up the prices of the items. Like I've realized when I grocery shop on some of these cart delivery sites, they're not charging me the same in-store price product. So I can go to a Walmart or, local grocery store and pay $3 for milk, but on this cart site, it's $4.99, $5 for the same milk that's coming from that store, but they're tacking on their $2 fee for them to make money off this item.
On each
item, and at the bottom.
Not even covering tax only.
Not even covering tax.
Just like,
they're charging you. If you guys start paying attention, right? I want you guys just as a test, right?
Yeah.
Download the store app that you actually grocery shop on, and then download one of the cart apps. And I'm not saying this to put them out of business, because if you absolutely have to do this and it's convenient, nobody, you don't think about paying it. But if you're looking to save money,
so people are still gonna do it.
So if I buy like the Coors rice, if I go into the stores, they have them sometimes like $1.50 or like 4 for $5, right?
Yeah.
But if you order them on one of the cart sites, they're like $2 for one rice. That's just for the item. That's not even charging you the service fee, the delivery fee, and the tax at the end of your order.
We need to have a Good Times grocery delivery.
A good
service.
delivery.
Good delivery. Oh.
Don't take that. This has already been copyrighted, and we will sue you.
Copywritten. And just do 50% less of a markup than everybody. Okay, never mind. 61%
we be having product meetings inside of product meetings inside of product meetings.
61% of millennials belong to loyalty programs, while just 45% of Gen Z have enrolled.
That is true. I sign up for every rewards. I go to Ace.
Me too.
I got an Ace rewards.
Where my keys at?
How many times do I go? I don't know, but I come here.
I got on my keychain.
Yep.
Oh, let me look. Boop.
Yep.
Let me save all
Give me my
mine.
rewards.
At the major grocery chain we shop at here in our local area.
Yep, I got that number.
You get money off of your carts all the time. Like the other loyalty stuff, I don't really ever see.
I need to. Yeah.
You must not be shopping there. Do you use your thing every time?
Yeah, I don't even know what place we talking about, but yeah, I do. Oh yeah.
Perks.
Yeah.
Every time I go to the register.
Perk it up, not Percocet.
Not Perks. No.
Nope.
You getting discounts on Perks? Every time. It's like, you want $16 off of your basket? Yes, ma'am, I do.
Off your basket of Perks? No, this is not.
I get a whole basket full.
We were talking about grocery store rewards points, y'all. Okay.
Don't lie to y'all.
Okay.
But that was the most prevalent ones that I thought were interesting. And
that does make us feel old now.
It really, really does. And it, I don't know. I think there's no going back at this point.
I mean, I guess the overall conclusion would be to...
Wait. We got to wait till the conclusion to conclude.
Well, I mean, should we just do it now?
I guess.
I mean...
I wanted to shake it off and try to change my mind. But
okay, you want to change your mind?
Nope, I can't change my mind.
Okay.
Millennials are the absolute worst generation.
Yeah.
Because I have to say that, because if we are responsible for everything that Gen Z is doing.
Yeah.
So practically, in the things that they do physically,
the baby boomers and the Gen X they laid the foundation.
They was the shit.
Literally, they laid down the foundation to boom all of us out. Boom, boom,
So
boom.
at what point, though, like, I'm not to bring up a new topic because I know we're about to wrap up, but at what point do you think we stopped listening to what they told us and went a different way?
I don't think that it's we stopped listening to what they told us. We stopped caring enough to continue to pass down the message. Because
a lot to reinvent the wheel, and the wheels fell off.
No, they just dropped the wheel. Because a lot of these parents, they know it. A lot of the millennial parents are like, because I had to go through it because paying bills, it ain't fun. But they don't want to enforce it to their children. Yeah, I feel like beforehand, They didn't care if you didn't like their rules. These were
Right.
my rules. You listen to them.
It
You're
is
my
what it
child.
is.
It is what it is. This newer generation, the millennials that's raising the Gen Zs, we're just like, oh, you don't want to listen? Fine. Do it your own way. Like, we give them a pushback to do whatever they want instead of
Right.
just making it a, this is how it is, this is the demand. And not saying that you should not hear your children out, but on certain things, you cannot whipple on. Because the moment that you whipple, that's the moment that they're going to break loose. And instead of you being harder on them and telling them the truth and making them have a curfew, you let them just roam the streets and do whatever. And then they end up in jail or in a grave. And now we're regretting all of these things. But you should have been doing what you should have needed to do to keep them safe.
Facts.
I know so many millennial parents who they don't give their kids curfews. They don't even know their kids' friends that they're going over their houses. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know the parent or where the actual person lives, or
we know
you know what I'm
all
saying?
that.
They don't have the passwords to their kids' accounts
I
and
got
all
all
those
their
kinds of
locations.
things. But that's because we're like still borderline Gen X and millennial.
Because we did say we're millennial by age, but we're Gen. What was the one before
Gen
us?
X.
Gen X
Was it?
before.
Gen X was
Was it the
before
one
us,
right
right?
before us? I don't know. Whatever one was before
Yeah, Gen
us.
X was
Okay.
before us. So yeah.
we're Gen X minded.
But we're millennial aged. Yeah. And I think that's the part that people don't, how we just said that at the same time? Oh.
Gen X minded, millennial aged.
Yeah, because I mean that's truly us. Like these parents are not they're not parenting, okay? And I think that we all just need to get back to caring about the children's future, caring about their well-beings, their turnouts, I mean their outcomes, whether it's your kid or not. I meet so many people who I'm like, look, you may think that I'm just an old head that's talking, but listen to your parent. Listen to people that's giving you advice, and that even goes into the business sense. You know what I'm saying? Some of these Gen Z's kids, they don't want to listen to business advice, which is why they get gypped over, they lose their companies, or they start something and then 2 years from now that business is no more in business, and it just fell to crap, and they wasted all this money because they're not listening to the people who laid down the foundation.
I just laugh.
No.
I know what I understand about life that I try to explain to them. Like any game we give down to them is simply so they don't have to endure the pitfalls that we did.
Yeah.
And when they push back and buck you on that, I just laugh because I'm like, okay,
You're gonna see it one day.
I know that I'm gonna get a phone call later in life because I had to do this. I've called my mom plenty of times.
Yeah, I have
and
too.
said, Ma, I know you've been waiting for this day.
Yep.
When you said X, Y, and Z thing, you was right because blah, 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 blah.
I've done this to my mom and dad. Call them plenty of time, man.
Anybody who is a sensible human being and who is really taking their growth seriously will have
You
that
have to do that,
conversation.
yeah.
You will have that conversation at some point. Unless you are one of those rare people who took all the game and ran with that game and you good to go.
Yeah, that's
You know what
very
I'm saying?
true. That's very true.
Then you could be like, I figured this out. And da-da-da. Did you know this? Like, you didn't tell me that.
You should be schooling. And that's what we got to get back to.
Pass
School.
it down.
Free game.
That's why I love Fridays.
That's why we love Fridays, because everybody wants to charge for something that they don't even really have the answers to. No. And here we are, we're giving away for free because we got the answers. Did you see that clip where Sway really had the answers for Kanye?
Did I send it? No, I sent it to Johnny 2 times.
Yeah, like he had the answers.
How, Sway?
You ain't got the answers, and Sway really did have the answers. That was the funniest thing and
the longest, because I mean, it was great. I was. Did you watch that whole?
With Kanye?
Yeah, did you watch it?
No, I didn't. I just saw the part where he actually admitted, like, Sway actually did have the answers.
It was the greatest thing in the world.
But that's growth, right? Where you can come. You were known for being a meme of saying this.
Yeah.
You've grown, you've went through things, and you came back on the same type of platform and said he had the answers. I should have listened to him then. That's what you call growth. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people are not doing.
Yeah.
They're not growing.
Like I was talking to someone last night, and they were talking about how when somebody passes or whatever, you regret not spending time with them when you could have spent time with them instead of. And like I told him, I was like, well, you can't at that time. in your life,
Yeah.
whatever you were doing at that moment was your truth, and that was what was truly important to you. In retrospect, now that that person isn't here, you're thinking about those moments where you could have spent with them, but at the time, that is your life, and that's what's prevalent. So,
and sometimes that's the prep work that the higher power gives for you to not have such a deeper connection to where it doesn't hurt as much. Sometimes you need that space for that person to go so that you can learn how to deal without them. Because if that would have happened while you were close in hand, you would have spiraled. So yeah, it sets you up, and it goes the way it's supposed to go. You know, unfortunately, we don't look at it that way, but I mean, that's what it is. But to wrap up our show, this season we started always doing positive notes closing out. Okay, guys? So here's our positive note bucket.
You gotta get like a sign that says
positive note
plus sign or something.
All right. And today's positive note is by Audrey Hepburn. Oh, this is so funny. This is nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible.
I absolutely love that. That is one of my favorite things. So I came up with one when I was, I don't remember, I think I was coaching, and I called it Billy. I said, be impossible, live impossible, because nothing is impossible. And my kids loved it. My kids on that team, we say it all the time. Billy, man, Billy. Like, just be impossible. Yeah. And I forgot about that until I read that one today, and I got to start.
So that's our saying for today. With the whole era and the whole generations, be impossible. You know what I'm saying? Do what you were told that you couldn't do, you couldn't achieve. Be better. Be smarter. Push yourselves harder than the last generation and the generations before to do better things that are impossible.
You said be better. I took this from Cat Williams, and I think it's Friday After Next. It said, don't be sorry, ho. Be better.
Okay.
I tell my kids that, too. Does that make me a bad parent?
No. I say it, too.
Oh, man.
Say,
Goodness
don't
gracious.
Be sorry. Be careful. Okay.
What a show, man.
Yes. So, feel free to always comment on the social media page on our app. Hit us up at our social media pages at princess_on-air.
At Kujo_speaks.
And the 9397 network as well. All right, y'all. Like we always say every show, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow to catch Diamond on Fashion Friday. We chatted it up with her earlier today. So make sure you guys do not miss tomorrow for Fashion Friday too.
Nice.
Make sure y'all tune in, okay? But like we always say, it's been fun.
It's been shrill.
It's been so freaking real. I'm your girl, the princess of all.
I'm Kujo Speaks.
Deuces. What is up, everybody? It's your girl, the princess of all.
I'm Kujo Speaks.
And you better get ready because the Good Time show, baby.
You thought last season was crazy, man. It's all over with this season.
It's heating up.
It's all over with.
It's giving what it's supposed to give.
Yeah, it's giving shawty, hunty vibes.
Dang, Shardy, okay? Make sure you tune in Monday through Friday.
That's my time, y'all.
4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the East and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the West.
And
CST, fit in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in.
Just watch the show, man. Just turn it on and see what you got.
Just tune in. Just tune in. Because we giving life. We serving body. Body, yada, yada, yada.
And we crazy.